A very common step of the interview process is giving references. So how do you request a reference from someone? Hey, I'm Abby and welcome to the Life Work Balance YouTube channel. Today I would like to share some information about how you can go about requesting a reference from someone. If you're looking forward to this information, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And to make sure you don't miss any future tips or life work balance advice, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life work balance advice delivered directly to you every Sunday. So not all jobs will request references. However, most professional and office-based jobs will request references. There's a few ways that the potential employer could go about checking your references. They might do it the old school way, which is just calling them up directly. So this is where you give a reference's name and contact information, whether it's a phone number or an email, and the employer will reach out to them directly and ask them direct questions. Usually this will happen over the phone. So it's a conversation about your type of work, what you were like as an employee or a coworker, and it gives the potential employer a lot of good information directly from the horse's mouth. However, there's also some new, more technologically advanced ways to compile references. One of the systems is called Skills Survey. You may have actually entered references into the Skills Survey platform before. So what will happen is when you get moved into the reference check portion of the interview process, your potential employer will enter your information into the Skills Survey system or whatever platform they might be using. And then you will receive an email. In that email, you'll have a link where you can go in and add your own reference information. So this will be the references' names, some of their information about their current job or maybe their past job when you worked with them, the capacity in which you worked with them, so whether they were a supervisor or manager, whether they were a previous teacher, a coworker, someone that you managed directly, etc. And then you enter their contact information. This could be phone number and email address, or just phone number or just email address. You will primarily be entering email addresses because this is all taking place via technology and will likely not require a direct phone call to your reference. Once you enter in your references information, they will then receive an email with a link to complete an anonymous survey about you. So it's usually going to be a relatively specific survey about the type of work that you will be doing. So let's say that you want to work in a customer service role as a caseworker. This is something that maybe requires some good communication skills, some problem-solving skills, multitasking, and prioritization. So there will likely be questions that are on a Likert scale, which means it's like 1 being strongly disagree to 5 being strongly agree, with 3 right in the middle being neutral. And then there will be some free text answer questions where it will ask, what were your 3 best qualities? And then it will have a text box for your reference to respond. What's great about these types of technologically advanced reference checking systems is that it's usually anonymous, which means that your reference can be as honest as they'd like when it comes to giving a reference. It also means that the hiring manager can likely receive a report that compiles all of your reference information into one single readable document. That way they don't have to read through 5 or 7 reference documents. They can just read through one report that has a general compilation of all of the information from people that you've gotten references from. There's a couple of things you should not do when it comes to your references. First, do not put your references on your resume. I also highly recommend not listing references available upon request on your resume. It is assumed that when the hiring team requests references from you, that you will provide those. So you don't need to have that disclaimer that references are available upon request, and you do not need to take up valuable real estate on your resume with reference information. Also, do not list someone as a reference unless you've contacted them first and asked them if it's all right if they'll be a reference. The last thing you want is a potential employer reaching out to someone who A, doesn't want to be a reference for you and will give you a bad reference, or B, you haven't contacted them so you don't have the updated contact information so that when the potential employer does reach out to them, they never respond. So make sure you always reach out to your references so that you can confirm their contact information and then also confirm that they're still willing to be a reference for you. When it comes to putting down your references, there's a few things that you should do. First is you want to list at least 3 to 5 references, maybe more. Of those 3 to 5 references, try to include at least 2 previous managers. If you've applied to a job where you will be doing management or supervision, try to also include at least 1 person who you directly supervised. Then you can fill in the additional references with people who were coworkers, potential stakeholders, customers, clients, or people that you collaborated with. You want to find people who can really provide a testimony to how you will show up for this new job. Once you've determined who you would like to ask to be your references, contact them directly, whether this is via a phone call, text message, or email. I recommend text message if you have their contact information, because this is likely the way you'll get the most responses from these individuals, and it's more of a personal way to request a reference than via email. When you reach out to them, you want to confirm their contact information. So you want to confirm their phone numbers and their email addresses. Make sure you're getting their preferred email addresses. They might have a personal email address that they'd prefer their reference go to, or maybe they prefer it go to their professional or work email address. You also want to let them know that you're going to follow up with them and you'll be sending them an informational email so that they have some information about the position you applied to. Because you've now told them that you're going to follow up with an informational email, do it. Send them an informational email and include information about the position you've applied to. Preferably, copy the job posting that you applied to into a Word document and email that to them directly. That way they can see exactly the types of tasks and responsibilities that you will be responsible for, and kind of get an idea of the type of position that you will be filling. I also highly recommend that you attach your resume that you attach to the original job posting or application. That way they know the exact information that you provided about the jobs that you worked in for the position that you applied to. So attaching the job posting as well as your resume gives your reference enough information to provide their information about the type of work that you did as well as the type of person that you are for the reference check process. You also may want to let them know what type of reference you've listed them as. So if you contacted someone who was maybe not your official supervisor, but who supervised you in a certain manner, then you may want to let them know that you've listed them as a previous supervisor. If they're just listed as a coworker or a stakeholder or a customer, let them know that's what you've listed them as. And then if you have any other information for them, give that to them. If you know that they'll be receiving an email, let them know that they'll be receiving this email. Tell them what email it may be coming from. Ask them to check their junk email, just in case it's a automated email that gets sent to spam. Or if it's going to be kind of the old-fashioned type of reference check, let them know that they can expect a phone call from some person with this company and that they will be speaking to them directly. If you know the phone number that they'll be calling from, even better, let them know the phone number to expect a call from so they don't screen it and ignore it. So I actually have an example email that you could send to your potential references after you've already reached out to them to ask them if they would be a reference for you. So again, you've already reached out to them, you've confirmed their email, and so now you're sending them a follow-up email with some information about the job that you've applied to, your resume, and giving them information about what type of reference you listed them as and what to expect from this reference check process. So here's my example email. Hi, Jane Doe. Thank you again for being one of my references for this position. I've attached 2 documents for your information in relation to this position. 1. Information about the specific position. This includes the summary, essential duties, skills, and I've also included a summary of the interview process thus far. 2. The resume I submitted with this application for information regarding my experience that I've listed. If you have any questions while completing the reference, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can text me and I will do my best to answer quickly. According to the email I received regarding the reference check process, you will be sent a link to a reference survey and your responses will be submitted directly back to the employer. No one will see your individual responses because all responses are averaged and made available in one confidential, summarized report. The employer wanted me to note that all references will be responding as individuals, not as representatives of any company or organization. Again, thank you for being one of my supervisor references. I really appreciate your help. And then sign your name. Remember to attach the documents that you said you would attach, so the position summary or job description and your resume. and then click send. Hopefully, if they have any questions or comments, they'll let you know. And by going through this process, you're making a good impression on them, so they likely feel comfortable being a positive reference for you. So if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Fingers crossed that if you're in the reference check process, that everything continues to go well. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, please put them in the comments box below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I am able. And don't forget, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life-work balance advice delivered directly to you every Sunday. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.